Yeah, and she
They
made
can
I don't
sit over there if they want to. Just like
It's CFFPING.
I didn't know that's like the word feel.
Here you go. Now there's 3 places to sit if you want to sit, and then 1 person up. So.
Yeah.
Go ahead and sit
then
down.
Sit.
I'm starving.
Rock back and forth. Take a seat.
Take a seat. Ready, and begin.
Like everyone else who makes the mistakes of getting older, I begin each day with a coffee and obituaries. As Bill Cosby says, he starts every morning with a cup of coffee, just like 90% of Americans, according to MedicineNet.com.
Caffeine is one of the great substances that is in most of our morning drinks. It wakes us up and helps make Monday mornings not feel so bad. But what is the chemical that we put into our body daily?
How caffeine is made or created? And caffeine is a natural element that occurs through chemical reaction as stated from Metascape.com, accessed on October 23rd, 2014. The caffeine chemical formula is C8H10N4O2, and it's a chemical formula of caffeine. And caffeine shares a number of traits with big drugs like antimenophytes, cocaine, and heroin. Caffeine is present in 60 different plants throughout the world, and that's naturally grown plants in the wild. And some of the bigger plants are Garna. It's a Brazilian cocoa plant that grows on a vine. Yarbomite. This is a native plant to South America. And these leaves have about 100 milliliters of caffeine, and that would be in your teas. And then kola nut. This grows in Africa and has like 2 milliliters of caffeine in it. And that's what you put in. That's what's in pop and stuff. And then cocoa. It is 9 milligram serving of caffeine, and it's found in the tropical areas of the world, so like right around the Mediterranean.
In its pure form, caffeine is a white powder. According to What is Caffeine on HowStuffWorks.com, caffeine has a bitter taste to it, so it's sour and just like in its the pure form, it's just not good. It's used to stimulate the heart in medical procedures. It's used as a mild diuretic. A diuretic is used to flush out your body's fluid and helps cleanse your body.
Caffeine in its pure white flaky powder, according to Britannic Online Academic Edition, and this was accessed on Wednesday, October 21st. And it's a pure white flaky powder. It almost looks like flour, like cooking, so they get it mixed up sometimes. Well, and it's a nitroglycerin organic compound of the alkali group. Has a melting point in its pure state of 460 degrees Fahrenheit, and that's why making pop and stuff or putting caffeine and stuff is so hard, because to get it you need a really hot oven. And caffeine, it's a soluble chemical, so it dissolves in water.
So what forms is it in? It's in a lot of different drinks. The first drink that it's obviously in, and everybody knows that it's in, is coffee. An 8-ounce cup of coffee has approximately 95 to 200 milligrams of caffeine. Brewed coffee has 80 to 180 milligrams of caffeine. 1 shot of espresso has around 64 to 90 milligrams of caffeine. An 8-ounce cappuccino has around 45 to 70 milligrams of caffeine. An 8-ounce decaffeinated coffee, yes, decaffeinated coffee, still has caffeine in it. It has 13 to 15 milligrams of caffeine. And coffee liqueur has 45 milliliters, has 4 to 14 milligrams of caffeine. Another drink that caffeine is always found in is tea. An 8-ounce cup of green tea has about 24 to 45 milligrams of caffeine. A normal-sized can of iced tea has about 15 to 67 milligrams of caffeine. A 250 milliliter leaf tea or a tea bag has about 43 to 60 milligrams of caffeine. And herbal tea has about 250 milliliters, it has 0 milligrams of caffeine. So this is just a chart of like what has a lot of caffeine in it. Obviously you can see that like the Monster and the coffee have like a lot of caffeine in them. And then like the varying sodas have more or less caffeine, and like this is like a older energy drink that doesn't have as much as like a Monster. And then the Propel is just kind of irrelevant now because Propel doesn't have caffeine in it anymore.
And then some energy drinks, as stated by the dietitiansofcanada.com website, accessed on October 22nd. A 2-ounce 5-hour energy shot has 200 to 207 milligrams of caffeine in it. A 32 ounce of the Chameleon energy drink has 2,160 milligrams of caffeine in it, and these are like the bottles that you can find it in, and it's literally the most caffeinated drink in the world, so it's basically like death in a bottle, so drink one and there you go. And then Death Wish coffee, which is 12 ounces, has 660 milligrams of caffeine in it, and a 1 ounce of pure liquid caffeine has 500 milligrams of caffeine in it.
Stated by the Dietitians of Canada magazine online, averaged October 23rd, 1 cup of semi-sweet chocolate chips has 104 milligrams of caffeine. 1/4 of chocolate-covered coffee beans have 338 to 355 milligrams of caffeine. 1 bar of dark chocolate has 27 milligrams of caffeine. 1 cup of hot chocolate has 5 to 12 milligrams of caffeine. 1 cup of chocolate milk has 3 to 5 grams of caffeine. And chocolate ice cream has 2 milligrams of caffeine. Sodas also have caffeine in them, and a 12-ounce bottle of Dr. Pepper has 36 to 42 milligrams of caffeine. In a 12-ounce Mountain Dew, there is 42 to 55 milligrams of caffeine, and in 350 milliliter of Diet Cola has 24 to 43 milligrams of caffeine. Caffeine is also present in painkillers.
So what does a high level of caffeine do to your body? Access this information at drugs.com on October 21st, 2014. Up to 400 milligrams of caffeine a day appears to be unsafe for adults. Adolescents should have no more than 100 milligrams of caffeine in a day, as stated by Mayo Clinic website, accessed on October 23rd. Caffeine makes you more jittery and nervous, and that allows ADHD for some people. It's making people not get enough sleep so that you lose your daily amount of sleep.
Some common side effects of caffeine are diarrhea, dizziness, fast heartbeat, severe nausea, tremors, and trouble sleeping. Some more of the rare side effects you can get are abdominal bleeding, dehydration, bloody diarrhea, and unusual weakness in like your fingers and your legs. Symptoms of overdose are seeing flashes of like zigzag lights, so your eyes just kind of start tripping you out a little bit. And then you get like a high fever. You have to go to the bathroom really frequently. Pretty bad headaches and some stomach pain.
After you stop using caffeine, your body will need time to adjust. The amount of time the side effects will last depends on how much and how often you had the drug. The side effects you'll have when quitting are anxiety, dizziness, irritability, stuffy nose, unusual tiredness, and muscle tension. Some antibiotics allow the caffeine to stay in your body longer.
These are medicines that are used to help your body during sickness but can cause negative side effects. Cipro and Naroxen amplify the effect of caffeine on your body for extended periods of time. Teofilline amplifies the side effects and it like worsens them greatly. Like you end up throwing up like blood and you get super nauseous and just really dizzy. Enhancia is a chemical drug that increases the harmful side effects of your caffeine. So like you get really bad headaches, you're super irritable.
Some of these caffeine drugs can cause really harmful side effects, and they can actually kill you. Like prednisone, it elevates your heart rate. With an elevated heart rate and then drinking caffeine can kill you. It'll create problems with your heart, and then it can create a heart attack. This is accessed on mayoclinic.org website used on October 23rd.
Now, people are allergic to caffeine. Caffeine, it can cause small jitters, and in more extreme cases, you can have psychosis and hives. And hives are like whelps or bumps all over your body, and they look nasty. Some of the caffeine allergy effects are physical. According to caffeineinformer.com, accessed on October 24th, physical allergy effects include dizziness, extreme jitters, muscle pain, cold sweats, eye swelling, and hives. And the eye swelling, it almost looks like pink eye, but your front of your eye kind of bulges out, and it's really nasty. These physical effects will cause, and they do cause problems to people in their everyday lives who are addicted to caffeine but are allergic to it. And the effects, they can worsen by the people in the mental way. Like it's not just physical, but it's also psychological.
The symptoms people experience from caffeine can more commonly deal with their mental health state. Mental effects of caffeine allergies, they include anxiety, panic attacks, depression, inability to focus, irritability, and hallucinations. Many of these mental health effects are not taken into consideration as a caffeine allergy until some of the physical effects start to show.
And now this is a chart of your brain activity with caffeine. And now the middle chart is like your baseline, and the more neutral colors, like the lighter orange and the yellows, are your like normal activity. And then the bottom row is the one with caffeine. It's where when you take high levels of caffeine and drink it, and then your brain becomes more active. It's not just your heart, but your brain. It starts going, and this is with an allergy. Your brain needs to think more, and it's acting up more, so it needs more oxygen and more blood to your brain, so your heart pumps more, which can create issues with your heart. But it also can create hemorrhages and little like welts swelling on your brain, and then with the welts are almost blood clots, and they will kill you. Like the back white part right there, that was a hemorrhage. This is an actual diagram of someone who died of caffeine. And the back part is someone where they had like a little blood clot and it killed them.
DemocratsInST.org, access October 21st, 2014, says some people are not fully allergic to caffeine, but just slightly sensitive. The sensitive people have more gentle reactions like slight jitters, slight anger, minor headaches, and some shortness of breath.
Some deaths related to caffeine. Deaths from caffeine pills, and this was stated on caffeineinformer.com access on October 21st. A 19-year-old boy died from caffeine toxicity because a bottle of pills said it had some caffeine in it. This dose was close to 4,800 milligrams of caffeine. And when you take a pill, the little pill, you eat it, and then it goes in your stomach and dissolves instantly. Unlike when you drink caffeine, it slowly goes into your body. Well, when you have the one little pill, it'll hit you way quicker than the pill will. So it'd be like drinking like 400 monsters in like a 1 minute period versus like over your lifetime. And you aren't supposed to take caffeine pills with high blood pressure or heart problems because it will cause a heart attack or a stroke.
Deaths from caffeine powder, stated by caffeineinformer.com, access October 22nd, 2014, says a large dose of pure caffeine powder was the cause of death for a teenager in Ohio. His blood had a caffeine concentration of 70 milligrams per milliliter of blood. Bulk caffeine powder is very popular with bodybuilders and is becoming popular with teens today.
Some deaths by energy drinks, and this is accessed on caffeineinformer.com on October 22nd. In Australia, a 28-year-old man drank 7 to 8 cans of Monster energy drinks between 8 a.m. and 3 p.m. and he collapsed at 3 p.m. and went into a cardiac arrest. This is a stroke or a heart attack. The investigations by the FDA found that 13 deaths have been attributed to 5-hour energy in the last couple of years.
Death by Monsters, a report from caffeineinformer.com, access October 22nd, 2014. In 2011, a 14-year-old girl consumed 2 24-ounce cans of Monster before going into cardiac arrest, so she was 14 and had a heart attack. In 2013, a mother filed a lawsuit against Monster for the death of her 19-year-old son, who had consumed 3 Monsters in a 24-hour period prior to his death and had been drinking about 2 to 3 Monsters a day for the last 3 years.
Deaths by 5-hour energy. Stated by CBSNews.com, access on October 23, 2014. Since 2009, 5-hour energy has caused 30 serious or life-threatening injuries. Some of these include heart attacks, convulsions, and in one case, a spontaneous abortion, according to FDA records on nytimes.com, access on October 23, 2014. In a 5-hour energy extra strength shot bottle, which is 1.9 ounces, has about 242 milligrams of caffeine.
Now, caffeine addiction. This is access on caffeineinformer.com on October 23rd. Now, there's a scientific theory on caffeine addiction. Like all other drugs, you can be addicted to it. Like when they say you're addicted to the parts of caffeine that are in cocaine that are used from caffeine leaves, so you get addicted to it. And like every addiction, there's always withdrawal symptoms that come from the stop of drinking caffeine.
Some withdrawal symptoms would include headache, fatigue, and drowsiness. A caffeine headache usually starts behind the eyes and moves slowly in front of the eye. When you get fatigue, if you're sitting straight up and you can't keep your eyes open, and drowsiness is always unmotivated and you don't have any physical motivation.
You're also in a super irritable mood, so everyone thinks you're on your last nerve. You also have difficulty concentrating. You forget about stuff in school, and you're not really able to focus on daily tasks like writing or reading. You get flu-like symptoms, and it makes you really nauseous, and it causes you to throw up. Muscle pain, and it gives you cramps in like your arms, legs, and it creates unease throughout the day.
MedicineNet.com, accessed on October 23rd, says that 90% of all adults consume 260 milligrams of caffeine a day. 40% of those adults are said to have a caffeine addiction. This addiction is a real thing and costs you money to the average day person. It costs upwards of $7 for a cup of coffee each day. This is the same as $2,548 a year just for getting 1 cup of coffee a day. This money could be used for more productive things like paying for college.
This is stated by Dr. Melissa Conrad on healthier ways to get your caffeine. There are healthier ways to get your caffeine without all the sugar and the acids that they put into soda and energy drinks. 1,103 gram daily dose of weight loss drug Xantrex is like having 12 cups of coffee. Ice cream has some caffeine in it. Chocolate ice cream has around 30 to 45 grams of caffeine. There's a water called Fruit 2.0 that has around 50 milligrams of caffeine in it. And they make energized sunflower seeds, which are sunflower seeds with caffeine, and they have 140 milligrams of caffeine.
Now, as stated by the HellersmanBlog.com, access on October 22nd, apples, they wake you up better than caffeine. Apples, they have 13 grams of natural sugars in them. And the vitamins inside the apple skins, for the people who don't like the skins, that the skin is actually what wakes you up. As you eat it, it slowly digests it and slowly releases through the day to keep you going. Unlike pop, when you drink the caffeine, it's not natural to your body, so it just like stops. And the vitamins in the apples, in the skins, they slowly disperse through your body to keep you going. It also reduces like cramps in your arms and stuff because if you do have the caffeine allergy, it'll release it through the day, so you aren't always craving it. When you bite into the apple, the crunch, that gives you a little jolt of energy. It wakes you up and kind of shocks you. And the chemicals inside of apples are the same as methamphetamines, and those are drugs that get you going, get you really hyper, like speed. And the natural glucose in apples, it breaks down throughout the day and throughout whenever you eat the apple, so then it keeps you going.
So instead of drinking a bunch of sugary caffeine drinks, just eat an apple. That'll be better.
Coffee, it's a language itself. This is a quote from the great Jackie Chan.
Caffeine is a great substance that most of us, thought is the only source of waking us up. The chemicals of caffeine show that it is a natural occurring chemical that only takes elements to form it. The many forms of that caffeine come in is abundant: coffee, tea, and even pills. There can be some weird things that caffeine is put into that appeals to people.
Caffeine can be dangerous if you don't handle it right. From death to pure addictions, and always craving and wanting caffeine. Even though there are harmful side effects that can come from caffeine, it is still a great thing that can give you the one little jolt you need to have a great day.